Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome to today's video. We are here to create some looks. I had the palette sideways to create some looks with the Odens Eye Snow Dream palette. Odens Eye did come out with 2 holiday palettes last year, and then they re-released those palettes this year and came out with 2 new holiday palettes. I was torn what to get. I knew that I didn't want to purchase the full collection, all 4, but I wanted to try one of them, so I ended up going with the Snow Dream palette. I love the color story here. We have the reds, the greens, which are very traditional, but we also have some golds in there, this beautiful like blue shade. It has blue and gold, this smokier vibe down here. I just felt like the Snow Dream palette is the eyeshadow palette that I would get more use out of. So I wanted to create some looks. I did end up coming up with 3 looks, this being one of them. So why don't we go ahead, I will zoom you in and we will get started. So for all of these looks, I am going to use my Sigma eye primer. I do typically use my eyeshadow primer and then I set it with a shadow. This is in the shade Ignite. It is a little bit more on the warmer side. I wish I had one that was more neutral, but it's a great one if you like a primer that's going to cover up redness. I do typically prefer an eyeshadow base or an eyeshadow primer that does cover up any redness or veining or anything to give me like a nice starting point. So I'm going to do this for all of my looks. So one thing that's nice about this palette is there is a shade right here. This is in Goodwill, and it kind of looks like a white shade. I don't know if it's a stark white. I have not actually swatched any of these yet, but I like to take and just press my eyeshadow right here in the crease on top of my primer, and I will drag it up into the brow bone. So I'm going to do this for each of the looks as well. Okay, there are so many looks that I want to create with this palette, but I really feel like I want to use this shade right here. It looks a little bit like more of a toppery type of shade when I swatch it in Frankincense, but it looks really pretty. I didn't know that it was going to be more of like a toppery type shade, so I almost wonder if I can do that inner corner. And then this shade right here, well, that's a little bit more bronzy. This is Sweater. I'm swatching these now for the first time. I do kind of want to use this, but maybe I should put this green all over the lid to do that. Give me a minute to think. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my BK206, which is fluffy, but it's like a little bit larger. And I'm going to go into this green shade in Snowflake. And what I'm going to do is put this on the lid just to give a little bit of a base shade to the Frankincense. Now I am dragging this up into my crease, but it's not the shade that I'm going to use for my crease shade, but I don't mind bringing it up that high. I just feel like I need something down first before I go in with Frankincense. I want a little bit of pigment. Okay, so this is my Singe EO3, and I am going to go in with this cooler toned brown shade right here in Feast. And I did put that green shade up into the crease, so this probably won't be super deep, but I mean, you could see that Frankincense shade was a bit of a lighter shade anyway, so we're obviously going for a light daytime look here and not super vampy. I'm going to go in with the Sigma pencil brush. I did turn the brightness down a bit and go into that same brown Feast shade, and I'm just going to run this on the lower lash line. I am going to take another Sigma pencil brush because I have several, and this one's not clean, but I'm using my Sigma switch to kind of clean it off a little bit, just because I think I want to get a little bit of green right here. This ornament shade, I want to get this and just kind of put it on this outer part of the lower lash line to tie in the green that's going to be in the shimmer. Okay, so then I'm going to take my finger and go in with this Frankincense shade and I'm going to press this onto the lid. I will follow it up with a brush to kind of blend, and you can see I'm applying it with my finger. I'm getting it up in the crease, but it's okay. I don't mind. This is pretty because it looks like it has different colors. There's like a blue, there's a gold. I feel like I see a little bit of a green. Definitely a nice wintry shade. I feel like I'm getting a little more pigment than I thought I was gonna get, but I am glad that I put that green shade down first, just to give it a little extra pop. Okay, this is my Singe EO1, and there's no product on here yet. I'm just gonna kind of blend this crease a little bit because I did get some shadow up there, so I'm just gonna blend it into the crease. It's gonna look a little messy, and I don't mind it. This shadow is for sure giving me some fallout. So I picked up just a tiny bit more because it was feeling a little chunky in spots from my finger application. And this shadow, while beautiful, it is getting all over the place. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like all up in my crease. I have fallout under the eyes. It's a sparkly look. I'm not a sparkly gal. This is a sparkly look, but the shadow is beautiful. It's just messy. So my suggestion would be to do your eyes first. Okay, so here is the first look. I decided to go with a little bit of a deeper lip, a little bit of a cooler lip, since the eyeshadow is so light. So I do have my Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, and then this is the Lunar Beauty. It's in Sailor. It's the one that was released, the liquid lipstick that was released with the Sunset collection. Is that what it was called? The Sailor Sunset, the latest collection from Lunar Beauty. This was one of the lipsticks in there, so it is a little bit deeper for me. I think this came out beautiful. I really do like that shade, but that shade is the star of the show. This one right here in Frankincense. It definitely is multi-dimensional. It's very glittery. I'm not typically into the glitter, but you know, I like the vibes that it's giving. I think it's a beautiful shadow. I do think that you'll want to do your eyeshadow first and not your base, like me. But here is look number one. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Okay, welcome to the second look. I haven't quite decided 100% what I'm doing here. You know, I have some ideas. I want it to be neutral leaning. I don't know if we're gonna dip into like more of a red or do a little bit more gold, a little bronze, a champagne. I don't know where life is gonna take us, but I'm gonna take my BK212, and because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna take this shade right here in Boots. I have not used it yet. It's like a peachy shade, and I'm just going to put this all in the crease. Hopefully the lighting's okay. I have my brightness up because it's a little bit later in the evening, but you know what? If it was the weekend, I probably wouldn't have filmed, but I am on Christmas break since I'm a teacher, and I decided I want to get all of the filming in that I can, especially with things like this where it's 3 looks. I do them like on separate days, you know? So I really need to utilize my time. And my children have decided that 5 o'clock is an appropriate time for them to wake up. So we are definitely taking naps here in this house. My husband and I switch on and off, and we nap it up because you know what? I don't want to start my day at 5 a.m. I don't. I have to do that for work. I don't want to when I'm on Christmas break. So I'm going to take the same brush and just go into this brown shade that we used in my first look called Feast. There aren't a ton of like matte brown shades, so I feel like Feast is one that would probably get used a ton. I almost think I need a little bit of a smaller brush. Okay, this is my BK202, and I'm going to go in with that Feast shade. This brush is great because it's a little bit more pointed, and I just want to get this brown shade a little bit deeper. Now, it does take some building on my end, but that's just the nature of how I do my eyeshadow. I primed and then I went in with that peachy shade, so any deeper shade, it's just gonna take a little bit of like working to build it up, but I don't mind that. I'd rather build up than start out with too much and try and take away, because that can be a little bit more challenging. I need to wash my brushes. I cannot find what I want. I'm gonna go in with the E42 from Sigma. It's the Precision Firm Blender. And I think I wanna take this red shade right here. It's in Guess. And I just wanna focus it on this outer part of my eye. I wanted a brush that was a little bit more dense so that I can put the red down and get rich pigment, but I also wanted a little bit of a blend to it so that I can blend those edges. And then I think we're gonna go in with the deeper shade that's like kitty corner to it as well to really deepen up this look. But I'm trying to get into a festive mood here. I want something with a little bit of fluff, and I think I'm gonna go back into the peachy shade that I started with in Boots. And this is the E33 from Sigma, and just put that around the red. The red had some rich pigment and it was super blendable. So I want to lighten up a little bit of that outer edge. I don't want the red to be too harsh out there. So we're gonna blend it into that peachy shade. I'm gonna go in with a pencil brush and I'm gonna dip back and forth between the two matte shades, Feast and Boots, that I used in the crease. And I'm going to put this on my lower lash line. I do not want to bring that red down there because that will make me look sickly. I want to keep the browns. I'm cracking up because my husband is in the living room with our kids and I don't know what they're playing, but my 4-year-old just went up to my husband and said, "Don't open up the door for strangers while I'm gone." And that is like the cutest thing ever. I'm going to take another Sigma pencil brush. I have a few of these, and I'm gonna go into this deeper shade right here in, that's hard to see. Okay, God Jewel. God Jewel. That one's a little bit tricky to see. But I'm gonna put this right here on the outer part of my lower lash line. And then I need to find a more dense brush because I do want to put that in the outer corner of the red also. I knew what I was looking for and I can't find it, not in the travel brush size, but it's my 207 from BK Beauty. So I'm gonna clean this off, but it's like the dome shape and I have it in like a normal size. This one's the travel, but I don't know where it is. It's probably just hiding from me. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go back into the shade that I just used on my lower lash line. This is like the deepest brown, I believe. And I'm going to put this right here in the outer corner just to take away some of the bright red texture and just make it a tiny bit deeper. And then we have to do what I've been putting off, which is decide what lid shade I want to go in with. Okay, so for lid shades, our options are this gold in Sweater Weather, not Sweater Weather, just Sweater. We have this one right here, ooh, that feels nice, in Tradition, which is what I was initially thinking. And then we have this one up here in Hugs, which is more of a champagne. And I'm just a little bit torn about what to do. I think, should we go gold and save this red one for another day? Maybe the gold and then take the Hugs and put it on the inner part. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I changed my mind, so I'm using my BK203 and I did dip into Tradition, which is the one that's a little bit more red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the outer part, and then I think I'm going to take Hugs, the lighter champagne shade, and put that on the inner part. is my plan. Okay, I need something that's gonna get that inner corner. This is the 209 from BK Beauty, and we're gonna go in with this Hugs shade, and I do spray it with Fix Plus, but I may need to go in with my finger because, I mean, it's picking up on the brush, but these shades do apply better with a finger. So this is the brush and Hugs. I don't think it's gonna give me what I want. So let me take my baby finger and just press that right here, and then I'll blend it with a brush. This shade is definitely more sparkly than the reddish shade that we went in with. So I think that one, it's good that I went in with my finger to minimize fallout. But it's a beautiful shade, and it's a great way to like lighten up this look. I am gonna drag it onto the inner part of my eye as well. But just like the look that I did yesterday with frankincense, the shimmers are a little bit different. So like this one right here in Tradition was a little bit harder pressed, less fallout. This one in Hugs is similar to frankincense, a little bit crumblier. It looks like Mary, Celebrate, and Tinsel are all that crumbly texture also, whereas Magic, Sweater, Tradition, those ones are packed a little bit tighter, so they won't be quite as sparkly. But this is what it's looking like. I think I like it. I think I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this eye. I'll be right back to show you the finished look. Okay, so here is the finished look. I went with a little bit of like an ombre lip. So I did go in with this Makeup Forever lip pencil in Endless Cacao. It's a little bit of a deeper shade, and I kind of outlined my lips and filled in the edges a little bit. And then I wanted something like nude, like nude, okay? And so I went with my classic Kim KW from Charlotte Tilbury to get this ombre look, but I also think that like a fierce red would look really good with this as well. Here is look number 2. I think I'm going to do one more look for you, so why don't we go ahead and jump into that one. We are here for our third and final look using this Snow Dreams palette for this video. Not forever, for the video. And you know, it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. We are going to dinner with friends tonight. I feel like I need to do like a little green and gold action, so that is what I am planning to do. Let's go ahead and take my Sigma E24 diffused blending brush, and I want to dip into this green shade right here in Ornament, and I am going to use that to put right in the crease here. So we are actually going over to our best friend's house for dinner. They used to be our next door neighbors, and they moved, sadly. They moved to a new house. They outgrew the one that they had, but we started a tradition because my daughter is best friends with their daughter. Their daughter is 10 months older than my daughter, and then their son is 6 months older than my son. Not planned. We did not necessarily plan to have kids so close in age, but we love it and we are thankful. So when our girls were little, we started the tradition of getting together and exchanging gifts with the kids and taking pictures by the Christmas tree, and it has just been such a sweet tradition that even though they moved, we're carrying it on. So then I'm going to go in with my BK 207. I cannot find my larger one. I still cannot find it. And I'm going to go into this brown shade down here in God Jewel, and we are going to put that right here in the outer corner. I'm just going to stamp it first, and then I'll work on blending it out. But for now, I'm going to use the denseness of this brush to just get the pigment in the outer corner like that. I found it. I found my bigger BK 207. I'm so happy now. It has green shadow on it. I need to clearly wash my brushes, but it just jumped right out at me. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Sigma E42. I used this yesterday, well, with the look also from before this one, which was yesterday in reality. And I think, how am I gonna blend it out? I haven't dipped into this shade Garland, so I'm just going to, okay, well, that's not what I was expecting, and I dipped too heavily, but I guess we're just going all over the lid with that. Okay, well, that was not what I was expecting to happen. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, because I definitely went in heavy-handed, but now we have garland. Now we have garland all over the lid, so let's just even it out, which that's actually a pretty color. But I don't know what I was thinking with that. But we're gonna just even out what we did on the other side also. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brush and still dip into that same shade, but this is fluffier, and I'm just gonna kind of work it through the outer edge to diffuse that crease. And I'm gonna put a lid shade, a color on the lid, so I'm not really worried about the inner part, but I do wanna blend that into the crease and then go over it with some more green, because I don't wanna cover up the green completely, but I do wanna get a little bit of that deeper brown shade in there. I'm gonna actually take a little bit of this minty green in Snowflake and kind of put that on the outer edge. Just, you know, to use another shade, why not? Add some more green in there. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a trust the process moment, because I was trying to be creative and festive. And I just have a lot of stuff going on in my eyes, but it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the gold, and I think I might save the green for the inner corner. So here's the gold in Sweater, and then here's the green in Mary. So I think if we do the gold on like 2/3 and Mary on the inner corner, I think that'll look nice. My very dirty, my very trusty BK203, and I will be spraying with Fix Plus. This is just my Sigma switch. Very helpful when you don't wash your brushes a lot. Okay, so I have the gold Sweater shade on my brush, and I really enjoy this formula from Odens Eye. It picks up better on a brush, and it's sparkly and shimmery, but not quite as much as you'll see the Mary shade is gonna be. And a little bit more of that brown shade just to kind of deepen up this outer part. I don't mind the shimmer covering it up, but I do want a little bit of like that brown to peek through. And I do just take my shimmers up into the crease also. I have hooded eyes, so, you know, we'll just put the sparkle everywhere. Okay, let's go in with my finger. I'm gonna take my finger and the green Mary shade, because that one seems like it's a little bit more shimmery and sparkly and glittery. Difficult with nails, but that's pretty on the lid. Look at that. It's a pretty shade, and I like that it's a little bit lighter, because I really like greens and golds together. This one has a little bit more of like a punch with the shimmer and the glitter. It's so pretty. Okay, let's just go ahead and finish this eye, and then I'll mimic the same thing on the other side. I think I'm just gonna take a touch more of the gold and kind of put it right over the top to blend all of these shades together. Wow, look at all that sparkle. If you like sparkle and shine, this is for you. Let's go in with not quite this thick of a pencil brush, this pencil brush from Sigma, and I am going to go back into this brown shade down here in God Jewel and run that on the outer part of my lower lid, and then I'm going to go in with probably that Garland shade that I accidentally went too heavy-handed with to blend out the rest. But I have small eyes, so I really try not to bring the deeper shades in too far because it can make my eyes look even smaller and more closed off. I like it just right here on this outer part. Okay, I have a different pencil brush and I'm going to go in with this Garland shade and I'm going to use that on like the inner part, but also to go underneath and blend out. So I'm starting it first here on the inner part and then going underneath that shade for a gradient look. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mimic this eye and put some mascara on, and I'll be right back to show you the finished look. So here is the third and final look. I love it. I think it turned out great. If I had to pick a favorite out of the three, I think my second one was my favorite, the one that I wore yesterday. And you know, I didn't even film any other videos with that one. I just got ready for dinner with friends and went out. But I think this one is great also. It's festive, but still not like too colorful. Like I feel comfortable wearing it. We have a little bit of red, a little bit of green. We have some gold, sparkles, shimmer. For the lip, I did go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in Raisin. And I went in with the KBellaBeauty lipstick. They're red in the shade Confident. It's their more blue-based red. They also have one that is a little bit more orange. But why don't we go ahead and zoom out and we'll wrap up the video. Okay guys, that's going to do it for my three looks using the Snow Dream palette. I am happy that I picked this one up. You know, I've said before that Odens Eye shadows, their shimmers, have not been my favorite formula, but I feel like in trying more Odens Eye that I've kind of learned how to use them. There definitely are some different shimmer formulas. You have ones that are a little bit more of like a topper and extra sparkle, very shimmery. The ones like Hugs, Mary, Frankincense. I haven't swatched Celebrate yet, but I'd be willing to bet that one is also going to be super shimmery. Tinsel. And then you have ones that are a little bit denser packed, and they do give you the bright shimmer and punch, but they're a little bit easier for me to work with. The ones like Magic, Sweater, Tradition. The mattes are fabulous. They're blendable. They're creamy. I really enjoy this color story. You know, when they re-released their holiday palettes from last year, I considered getting, I think it was like the Christmas Eve, but I didn't want to get all four because I didn't think I would use all four. And this one to me was a little bit safer, in my opinion, a little bit more on the neutral side, but we still have those pops of color. And overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. So I would love to know your thoughts down below. Which of the three looks was your favorite? Let me know if you picked up any of their eyeshadow palettes, the 4 Christmas holiday themed palettes. And I would love to know if there are any video ideas that you would love to see me do in the new year. You can list those down below as well. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.